What's up, y'all? My name is Cecil, but my artist name is Ciano, CEANO. Right now I'm at, I'm metamorphosis. That's why, that's why I'm true to me. That's why I'm, just who I am. Most people don't really know me. Most people just see me for who they are. I kind of reflect different personalities for just how you are. If you're more intelligent, that's what I reflect. If you're more cheerful, if you're more playful, but I can still stay true to me, which is being, just being myself, in general, which, you don't really get validation from the crowd and all that. You're just true to you. You can just be you. You don't really gotta expect somebody to change your mood or just change how you act towards other people. I can just be true to me easily. I just want to send a message right now too. Just anybody, just keep being you. Just do you. Don't really bend to what people expect from you. From people's validation of who you are. Just do what you think is right. For you. That's really not being selfish. It's more of just knowing yourself and believing and just trusting your own process. Just not depending on people's validation. Just how we have different rich people. We have rich people who depend on people's validation to so that they feel they are rich. But we have the specific rich people who really just did it for family, who really just did it for generation growth, and they don't really depend on other people, especially the rich people who really did it for freedom, or it was just more of God's just wealth, the wealth that just came from God. Most of those rich people really do not depend on people's validation for how rich they are, unlike some people who really have they really do have a lot, which is not even the mindset, it's just the money. There's different type of richness. You might be rich through money, but you really you really ain't rich in your mindset. You really ain't rich in your morals. You just have money, and the thing is, once you have money, kind of just worsens, it kind of just worsens who you are. But the richness I kind of want people to have is the richness in life. The richness in having morals, loving, just being yourself, especially in this world, in this social cold, in this so-called world. In this so-called world, just try and be you. Have peace. I feel like peace within yourself is one of the best richness that you can have within yourself, especially as a man. I mean, it just goes both ways, but I think that the best richness you can have is the richness in life, the richness of peace, the richness of loving everybody, the richness of just being yourself, and especially the richness in mindset. You gotta grow your mind, you gotta think, you gotta read, just know hella things. Just don't be watching a lot of things for fun. Be watching things to help you as well. But yeah, don't really seek validation from people to determine who you are. You already are who you are. You don't really need somebody to tell you who you are to be who they think you are. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. Honestly, I really just be speaking what I know. Just for the few people who kind of get, because not everybody is on the same frequency as you or me. We all on different frequencies, and until somebody gets to the frequency or where you at, Now that's when they're going to understand what you mean by what you say, you know. So everybody who we are in the same frequency, I know you'll get what I say, or anybody who's not too, they kind of have a context of what they, you know, of what I say too as well. But but yeah, y'all need to go, you know, tap in, you know, I see a lot of people who just go view my songs. They don't really subscribe and shit, but you know, you gotta support a brother too. You feel me? Like, you know, yeah, just show love. You know, not only me, just show everybody love. Show everybody around you love. You know, just always, you know, try and smile even when things are hard. You know, it kind of brings positiveness to you. It kind of just brings life, you know, to you. You know, especially don't really depend or don't really, you know, when somebody's just mad at you. You know, it should not judge how you treat them. You know, you should not treat, you know, every stranger weird and just treat your friends good. You know, just treat everybody the same. That's what I really be doing. You know, it don't really matter if you're a stranger to me or I don't really know you. You know, I'ma just treat you the same as I treat my mother. I'ma treat you the same as I treat anybody I know. You know, until you prove me wrong, and now, you know, my trust is just fully gone and shit, you know. Yeah. But yeah, thank y'all for listening as well. You know, I'ma just keep making a couple videos and shit, you know. But yeah, thank you all. You know, it's just yeah. Alright.